Okay. So, actionable things you can do to deal with physical symptoms, because Billy Palmer has asked, I'm struggling massively with the physical symptoms. Okay. Somatic tracking. What is somatic tracking? Okay. Even Vijay has mentioned somatic tracking, and acceptance has worked wonders for him. So, somatic work, for example, is somatic tracking, where you actually locate the symptom in your body. Ask yourself, where actually is the symptom? Where do you feel it in your body? What body part? You can hold it to put some more awareness on it. Just notice where the symptom is in your body. That's the first step. Once you notice that, notice what it actually feels like. So, is it a tightening? Is it a stabbing? Now, this takes a little practice because our natural instinct is to push away the symptom, and I get that. So, just notice the symptom through, like mindfulness. And then once you notice the symptom, notice what happens to the intensity moment to moment. Does it change? Does your mind wander? Just notice. Another framework you can do to deal with physical symptoms is RAIN, which incorporates somatic tracking, but it's kind of in an easier way to understand because it's an acronym. So RAIN, R-A-I-N, stands for Recognize, Allow, Investigate, Notice. Recognize. What does that mean? Recognize means literally recognize it in your body, as in notice where it is in your body. Now, allow. So allow that symptom to be there. Don't try and get rid of it. Don't try and push it away. Really hold space for and let it be there. Investigate. This is where the curiosity aspect comes in. Notice where it is in your body and the intensity moment to moment. And then the last one. Notice. Notice what happens when you're curious without trying to get rid of it. Like just find that as a process of discovery. Okay. Mr. B, healing anxiety in 4 weeks, really? So, healing anxiety could take from 4 weeks to 6 months to many years. It all depends on you and how much you can teach your nervous system that you're safe. And a lot of that inputs on your mindset, your awareness, self-awareness, and the changes you make. If you complain about your anxiety and you take no action, guess what? You won't heal in 4 weeks. And I know that sounds like me being harsh, but like, for example, myself, when I was dealing with this, I had a really victim mindset. I was like, why does my body not work properly? I had a lot of health anxiety, which was one of my issues. Like, why does my body not work properly? Why am I getting these symptoms? Like, why is this happening to me? All these people in public, in school, at work, in my family, my friends, they don't have this problem. And then you kind of have like a victim mindset because you just feel like you're cursed and your body's kind of against you, right? I get that. I get how annoying that feels. But the thing is, if you kind of give all your power away to external circumstances, then you're kind of saying that they control my life and like anxiety happened to me. Instead, you can use it to make positive changes in your life, right? I know it was a long-winded answer, but yeah. Okay, Finn, what did you do to your tinnitus? So I had tinnitus, and for those of you that don't know, tinnitus or tinnitus, it's basically ringing in your ears. So you hear an internal ringing sound. This can vary in volume and tune for many people, but it's essentially a ringing in your ears that you can hear but no one else can hear. Now, things to help with tinnitus, right? I'm not gonna be like an ENT doctor and like say, oh, you need to get this ear issue. No, this is purely if your tinnitus is due to stress-related conditions like anxiety that can cause tinnitus. If it's something else, like there's something wrong with like your eustachian tubes, which is like structures inside your ears, then I'm not your person to go for. But if your tinnitus you notice happens due to anxiety and due to dysregulated nervous system and chronic stress, here are a couple of things that I did that really helped me. One was my posture, right? How I was standing. You'll notice when you're anxious and you're stressed, you'll slouch over. So one thing I did was just adjusted my posture. My spine was straight and my hips were aligned, my neck was straight, and I was just standing upright, right? My body language. That's one thing. The second thing for tinnitus is if your tinnitus is really intense, apply somatic tracking to that. So what does it actually sound like? Where do you hear it in your ears? Like literally just notice without trying to get rid of it and like push against it and resist it. That's one thing you can do. Now, the second thing you can do is you can kind of just go about your day with the ringing being there and kind of allowing it to be there. So you're not the fact that the ringing is there is no problem. You're just mindful of it, noticing it, and noticing all your other senses. You don't have to hyper focus on the ringing. That's what kind of makes it worse. When you kind of notice your other senses as well, like your sight, what you feel, and you kind of live in your body, you'll focus less on the actual symptom and the thoughts about the symptom. Try that for now. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just genuinely practice that multiple times throughout your day and notice how you feel. Okay. Alright, let me get to the next question. Lucre, he attended this for 2 years and then my brain stopped listening to it and I completely forgot about it. Exactly, that was my third point there, Luke. Well done. Alright, Billy Palmer. Some days I feel so heavy with severe fatigue. I do meditate often, I feel very healthy. I get you. And if some days you have 30% and you gave 30%, you gave 100%. I love that quote. So whenever you're feeling negative and on those harder days, the best things to do really is take one small action that's positive. So eat your favorite food, play your favorite movie, dance to your favorite song, go on a 5-minute walk. Just do something small, act of self-love to yourself. Thank you for the rose, KR Bob. So small positive action to kind of shift your state. You don't have to like work out for 3 hours and do 2 hours of exposure therapy. Just do something, okay? Just do something that is a positive action, right? Don't be a victim, don't complain. Marina, my heart is beating so fast sometimes I feel like I can't breathe. So Marina, somatic tracking to your heartbeat. Notice the racing heart. Whenever you go into fight or flight, one of the symptoms is your heartbeat increases, right? So if you feel like you can't breathe, it's probably because your throat is closing up or you're holding your breath or you're taking in too much air when you're in fight or flight. What I would suggest is pausing, moving your body slowly, noticing you're safe, look out through your peripheral vision, notice that you're safe, and then just pause. Move your body slow, just pause, and just notice what that shortness of breath feels like. Like, where do you feel it? What does it feel like? And then kind of just let it go. You can let the breath go, and it can be as tight and slow as it wants to be. Don't fear it. You practice that through meditation. Marit Stevens, I'm healing after 5 years. That's sick, man. And I'm so happy for you. Lucre, hi Gabe, I struggle with the feeling of high heart rate when exercising. So literally be mindful of the feeling and understand that it's a completely normal thing for your heart rate to increase. Your heart rate increases because you need to pump more blood throughout your body. When you're exercising, guess what's happening? Your muscles need more blood, so your heart needs to beat faster. So the only problem is if you're not exercising or not doing something that puts stress under the body. Not like toxic stress, like healthy stress that you can deal with. Your heart rate is supposed to increase. Okay, so be mindful of it, notice the fear, and just reassure yourself that it's normal. Kimmy, is it true about magnesium is good for anxiety? Yes, and the reason I can say that with good faith is if you kind of read up any work on Dr. Andrew Huberman, where he's really an expert in supplements and speaks to the leading scientists and researchers on supplements and health in general, with including anxiety. And magnesium basically relaxes your muscles. So if you take magnesium at night, the best magnesium most people would suggest is magnesium glycinate. Take it from a trusted source, a reliable source, where it's actually magnesium glycinate. And then if you take it at night, it helps with your sleep, helps with relaxing your muscles. All of you anxious people, I know how tense you are. So yeah, it definitely helps. It helps with sleep too. Okay. Mireille, travel anxiety. So with travel anxiety, whether it's at a plane, things to do: pause, meditate, notice your symptom, live in your body, notice your breath. Each time you feel yourself getting anxious or thinking or worrying about a symptom, notice your breath. Your breath is the first thing that changes when you're anxious, and your breath is the literal connection between your body and your mind. So when you're more anxious and you go into that fight or flight state, guess what happens to your breath? Your breath gets faster and quicker, and you start breathing from your upper body. So guess what would happen if you started breathing, guess what would happen if you started noticing your breath? Well, the first time you notice it, you're not trying to get rid of it, right? You're just kind of letting the breath come to you. But whenever you do that for a few minutes, for a few moments, even 5 breaths when you're beginning, it tends to just naturally cool down the nervous system. Your breath naturally slows. Your breath naturally deepens. And this all happens when you're literally just noticing the breath without trying to change it. Now, the reason most people don't get this in a sense is that they try it and then they have no idea how to meditate and they haven't practiced at all, and they maybe notice the breath for like a few seconds, but in the next breath they're lost in thought, or they're hyper focusing on the symptom in their body, and they're like, oh my god, this doesn't work. No, whenever you're in fight or flight, you're thinking from your amygdala, right? That part of the brain, that reptilian part of the brain that controls your stress response. You're not really going to be logical and you're going to be in a rush. So you have to practice this. Take a few minutes every day. Meditate. This is part of what I teach in my 21-day meditation course for anxiety in my second community, Happy Healing. So you learn how to kind of stay with your breath, deal with physical symptoms, apply somatic tracking, and so on. And if anyone's interested in that, just DM me on TikTok or on Skull. But yeah, okay. Marit Stevens. I have cardiophobia so bad, but it's finally getting better after all these years. That's sick, man. I'm proud of you. Okay. Billy, I always Google symptoms when I feel something is wrong. Big mistake for me. So if you're trying to stop a bad habit like Googling, what you want to do is you want to increase it, make it harder for you to Google. Delete Google off your phone. Download an app blocker. Use a screen time blocker. I pay £90, which is like in and around $115 a year, to just this app called Opal, and it means that I can't open certain apps at certain times, and I can't even delete the app or change the time zone. Like, I'd literally have to use someone else's phone to use certain apps. So yeah, thank you for the badge, Jazz. So yeah, make it harder for you to Google. Delete Google. Jay Taylor, can you talk about external factors that can control your anxiety? External factors, really your environment. So a toxic relationship, toxic family, toxic friends, toxic workplace stuff. External things, health issues that weren't your fault, genetic conditions. A car accident means you broke your leg and now you're more anxious, you can't exercise anymore. Stuff like that. The best way to deal with external circumstances that either make your anxiety better or worse is your mindset towards it. So let's say external circumstance, toxic work, relationships. You can try and make it, okay, what's in your control? Alright, it's in my control if I can apply to new jobs, gain new skills, learn different things, take action towards getting a new job. That I can control. You can't control trying to change the behavior of your existing toxic relationship. And I hope you guys know that this will apply to, so for example, if it's a toxic relationship, leave that relationship. If you've set your boundary and they're not following or they're not respecting it, leave. You don't have to change them, but you are responsible for your life if you choose to continue spending time with that person. Now, I know people in my community that respect themselves enough that even if it's the father of their biological child, if that person isn't serving them, they choose to separate, and that's completely fine.